fluctuating, it's fluctuating. I want a splash of your love. I'll take a leap into the deep end, to the deep end. I want a splash of your touch.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 1K World Cup 2025. I am your commentator, Beat43210, and today we have the opening match of the tournament in the round of 20 between Japan and Australia. Joining me today in this opening matchup is Sparky. How you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Excited to finally kick this tournament off. And what better way to do it than with our number one seed taking on Australia. The first team to see how far they can get against this Japanese roster. Short one player this time around. Not going to have grape tea. So small comfort in that. But we're still pretty likely to see close to 1-0 scores.
Oh, never mind. Japan already got 100 in the roll.
Oh,
it's
God.
over.
Okay.
It's all over.
That bodes very well. That's insane.
Jesus.
Remind us to let the hosts know so that they can all collectively get their 100 roll in the Discord.
Woo! Nice job. All right, Japan already kicking things off with a 100 without grape tea. It's all over, folks. Yep.
No, so it'll be interesting to see how well this Australian roster stacks up in terms of overall team score. I feel like I think we were slightly touching on this before the stream started. Just the scores overall, kind of there's a pretty sharp decline as soon as you leave like those podium positions, and once we get into these easier pools, like the fact that we're starting off in round of 20 with some of the easier maps, along with some sprinkled fresh ones in here, that kind of brings people back into the fold. The rhythms are a lot easier. It's easier to get your head around some of these maps in comparison to the qualifiers.
Yeah. So here we go. We're getting on to the first pick. There are no bans in this map pool, and it is a best of 9. So first to 5 will win the match. And after a very long consideration, we are going with, I believe, Rice 1. But
Rice 1.
I don't see the difficulty. Is that CL?
Yeah, I think they mean class. It's the terminology is flipped on its head. It's already weird enough in Mania tournaments, but now having classic, old featured artists and new means that
they changed it.
Yeah, so now it's classic. Basically, anything from Joke 2 or 3. Old maps are from Joke 1. And then the new stuff is at the bottom of the map pool, and yeah, it's I imagine we're in for a weekend of
Okay.
Oh, fan. Sorry, I got corrected here. FA is fan. For whatever reason, my brain goes to featured artist.
Fan, as in like fan favorite?
Oh, I'm dumb. It even says it on the difficulty name. I just can't read.
Bruh.
I read it out with so much confidence, just rattling off just complete lies. But no, they
what's
did
it
mean
called?
classic one.
Just as a classic saying, just say it confidently and often enough, and eventually people believe it. Okay, you
Absolutely.
had me fooled for a full 10 seconds, and then I realized. So, yeah, here we go. Classic number 1, the title track, composed by Origami Angel. Don't remember when this was from. but
This was in the qualifiers for Joke 3, if I recall correctly. Here, Joke 3 or Joke 2. But yeah, this was one of the qualifier maps. Very straightforward rhythms, very much fitting of any Rice 1s that we've had in the past. This is very reminiscent of it. A lot of straightforward 1/4 patterning, some 1/2s all over the place. Nothing quite as hard as some of the qualifier maps we had. So I'm expecting some pretty good scores overall, but as we get things started here, we see Australia already dropping a little bit in terms of accuracy, and a couple misses as well to start things off. You're going to give Japan quite a bit of a cushion to work with through these opening 100 notes.
yeah. Tsubasa having a bit of a rough start out the gate. Erish doing good to keep a full combo, albeit the accuracy suffering quite a bit, down to 94%. But it is the thought that counts. Japan, on the other hand, 2 players, 99.98 and 99 respectively. Are we really surprised? No, but it is a sight to behold. We get through the opening stages here.
Yeah, already a third of the map through and already building a lead of about 140,000 points as we get into this heavy percussion section. These 1/4 rolls starting to come through with more regularity, going to catch up Tsubasa once again. Erish doing a great job holding on to the combo here. I think we'll see as we progress through this tournament that can come into play in certain matchups where you can kind of eschew the accuracy in favor of the combo, but in a matchup like this against Japan, where they're at near metronomic precision, pretty much 24/7, not really much you can do there. And as I say that, Erish finally falls from their perch. Did a really good job holding on as long as they did, but as things stand, it's basically right from the offset, Japan in the driver's seat and not looking like they're going to relinquish that anytime soon here.
Yeah. Erish doing a fine job keeping the combo going for most of the map, but was not going to be enough to stop the almighty Japan, who both of them still on a full combo. HZ at 99.99, actually actively fighting 99 against 98. And we're not talking about the 99% or the 98% on the left side of the board. We're looking at the 99 and the 98 on the right side of the decimal point. And the HZ ends up on top with 7 perfects, with a perfect plus FC right there. Yomogi doing all right as well, getting 26 perfects in a perfect plus FC. Tsubasa, 14 misses and a good 2-to-1 ratio. And Erish getting more perfects than marvelouses.
It's been a while since I've seen a negative ratio there, but I mean, thankfully that was out of the way. I don't think they would have willingly picked into something like that, and knowing how rhythmically difficult it can get at times. And with Australia up to pick, maybe they can go for something a little bit easier, maybe not as physically demanding. It's one of those where you would ask how they're playing, like what technique they're employing and trying to play through some of these sections. It'd be very interesting to see if we have any single tappers in round of 20. I'm pretty sure there are a couple of folks that would attempt to single tap through some of these maps, but when put into practice, sometimes you get the results that we see here. Or if they're alternating, then maybe just trying to get the hands down a little faster, avoid bottoming out. But as I say that, they're going to go for classic number 5. It's going to be Half Ghost. So stick with these faster charts. This one having, 250 BPM bursts with regularity in between a lot of the 1-2 patterning. Not something I would expect, given how the title track went, but hey, maybe they know something that we don't.
You know what? I'll tell you what it is, right? A classic Australian mentality that has lived as long as the community itself. You don't pick songs that you're good at, you just pick songs that sound good.
Yeah.
And it is of my humble opinion that these guys do kind of enjoy the song. So I think that's the mentality that they're going with. So
Yeah.
let's see if I'm right.
Go with the stuff that you enjoy listening to. It's like you see the scores across the lobby here, and it's like, okay, I don't think we can touch that even on our best day. So let's just not torture ourselves with songs we don't want to listen to, which is a pretty good strategy. But here we go.
Yeah, this song quite fast. The first burst, catching Tsubasa and Erish with some misses. HC had a bit of a sloppy start, but has made a recovery. He's touching the 99.8s to start with, but has picked up since. Mogi.
Yeah.
Sorry, God.
No, I was gonna say that's just the bar that we're probably gonna be talking about for most of this tournament for Japan, where it's like anything below 99.9, and we're wondering if something's wrong.
Yeah, it's what they call it. Like, it's kind of like the realm of expectations, in a sense. You know, if a majority of the teams had 99.8 as a leading score, they'd be cheering that they're on the top of the world. But because Japan is heavily favored to not only win this matchup, but also maybe even the tournament itself, you know, anything outside of like a godlike performance, and it becomes a notable talking point. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
HC has actually caught up to Yomogi, who, after having a better start than HZ, has slipped behind.
Yeah, and
But
I
of
think
course-
then going into the outro of this chart, I mean, these two have been in lockstep with each other. These complementing scores that they can basically just kind of play off of each other, and basically, once again, just near perfect on their performance. Not really much either Tsubasa or Erish can do in that regard. Yeah. Pretty good performance from Tsubasa. Erish struggling a little bit there, getting the B rank, but that's to be expected with one of these harder charts. And to be fair, getting above a 500k on that, pretty good overall for somebody who may not do one key stuff at all, honestly.
I mean, one key is not a common mode.
Not common.
A crazy idea fletched out over at least half a decade by this point.
Yeah, it's been a while now.
It's been a hot minute that we've all been here in the scene. So sometimes you see newer players stepping up to the leap of faith, and it slaps.
Yeah,
real hard. Like a truck. We call it truck cunt.
I always enjoy seeing newer faces get into one key, because each one of them I've seen down over the last couple of years reaches that point where like things just click for them, and they're able to like read and understand the patterns. Their hands can move to hit things a lot better, and the skill climb from that moment is near exponential. I feel like if you look at like the UK roster in particular, there were a couple players there where it's like their first tournament, like they were struggling and like in those mid to lower seeds, and now, I mean, look at them. They're literally second and I want to say 6th seed for both UK rosters that qualify for the tournament. It's like I'm hoping that we have that kind of situation with this Australian roster where it's like going into future iterations, they just have that moment where everything just kind of lines up.
And you know what? That lineup might become a marvelous attempt of Glory especially in this competition of trying to become the winning team in the 1K World Cup. So you never know. You never know. We definitely have some old faces that have been grinding out for a very long time, hoping to make a deep run this year. But for now, we turn our attention to the start of this map, and Tsubasa actually getting a very good score out the gate, holding the full combo with a respectable 99.4. Oh, never mind.
You just had to say something.
I just had to open my mouth and point out. Well, I'm sorry, my boy had a chance. He had a chance, and it died in darkness.
They were doing great holding on to that 99. I mean, to be fair, even with the drop, kept it relatively clean. Still in that upper 98% range. Just little things to hang their hats on. It's like, okay, being able to, against anybody else in and around their seed range, this would be a really good score, and Erish with that 93 would be a really nice supporting score. It's just the discrepancy in what, in the context of this match, when you're dealing with HZ 404 and Yavogi on the other side, is like, at this point it's more just personal expectations and exceeding those in a match like this.
100%. And in fact, between the two Japanese players, they have the same accuracy, 99.87. Which, by the way, neither player has picked up a great yet in this entire matchup. It goes to show the level of proficiency that our number one seeds have in this early stage pool.
And as we take a bit of a break here, going into the last quarter, just the one brief moment of LNs, you would imagine an opportunity for maybe a 200, but no, they're literally still in lockstep with each other, maybe like 5 or 6 300s between the two of them, but even then it's like the percentage is identical. It's literally just one person playing on two accounts at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, would that become a 2-key moment though? If one person was playing on two accounts?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah. It's just a fancier version of Strike. Yep. You know, why have two lanes on the one screen when you can have two lanes over two screens? One lane over two screens.
True. And lo and behold, both of them picking up a 200.
Hey!
Their first one, they can black flag some of these charts. Happens to the best of us.
Yep, that is so true. In fact, they almost got the same score too. Only 100 points separating those two. Yeah, no, insanely consistent. Welcome back, team consistency.
Genuinely. And I mean, to be fair, on the other side, Tsubasa with that 919k, Erish with the A rank, able to, again, it's one of those where it's like you're hoping that they're exceeding their expectations, maybe their practice scores, beating their practice scores going into this, as we see new 2. So we get both of the new charts picked in this matchup, and it is going to be beyond a decision. The custom for this tournament provided wonderfully by Cyclo.
Mm-hmm. Hardest map. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
How will the Japanese take on this map? Nah, they're setting the expectation. Next minute they get Next minute they'll get like 99.95.
I was literally about to throw out 99.95.
Hey, look, great minds think alike, as they say. Either that or I've just decided in advance, right?
Yeah. And as we get this chart underway, Tsubasa gonna be first one to pick up a drop here, overholding on one of those LNs. Erish joining them before too long as we get through this opening sequence, and already this map is noticeably harder in terms of rhythmic sequences, diving between the LNs and the rice. And it holds true that even though we don't have like a dedicated hybrid pool in this tournament, it's always nice to know that there's at least one hybrid-esque map that is like a half step harder than the rest of the pool.
Yeah. Just to give a little flavor to some of the higher seeds who are looking to make an impact in these early stage matches. And so far, individually, HZ leading the lobby, trying to chase down 99.95. It's currently sitting at 0.92. Yomogi right behind at 0.87.
Yeah, meanwhile, on the other side, Tsubasa and Erish. Oh, actually, first miss for the Japanese side. Yomogi going to be finding the drop here. Gonna ruin that perfect streak that they've had going on over the first 3 maps. And proving that they can indeed miss.
100%. So, let's see how the rest of the song finish.
Last save for the map left to go here. And again, result basically done and dusted. Both Tsubasa and Erish struggling a little bit on this one in comparison to the rest of the charts. It is, as I mentioned, an order of magnitude harder than the rest of the maps in the round of 20 pool. Yomogi picking up yet another drop, doubling the miscount for Japan so far this match. And it is going to be match point 4-0 to start this match off.
Yep. So a very clean performance by Japan, although Yomogi did pick up a few misses there. Not going to change the outcome of the matchups at all, as we see Japan leading quite comfortably. And what is very likely to be the last track of the match, it will be classic number 2. Zakai no Juliet, composed by Fuki.
Yeah, this one off of, I want to say Joke 2, round of 32 was where they pulled this one from. And pretty straightforward map once again, not quite as technically demanding as something like we just saw.
Yeah.
But it is quite a bit longer than some of the other maps that we have seen so far. I think there's a bit of a skip at the beginning that the players can opt for, but we'll see how they do on this one.
Yomogi starting with a double S. And it's gone.
Right as soon as he finished it, the 300 comes down just to really drive it home.
Mm-hmm.
That's about as far as the curses go, I think, for Japan in terms of what we can do.
Yeah, at least in this matchup, come back in a few weeks, and we'll I'll just keep leveling up my curse power, and then one day, just gonna be in a Japanese matchup. I'm gonna say something, and it's gonna be a decisive result. We've almost saw that most recently in Taika World Cup a week ago. Good times, good times.
Good times indeed. And as we get through the first quarter of this map, I do want to highlight Tsubasa and Erish both holding on to S ranks on this as we continue on. Pretty hard pattern to read through there. I think the first 1/6 burst that we've actually seen in this match, going to catch both of them out, but recovering pretty nicely, not losing too much accuracy through that. Tsubasa is still above over that 99, and Erish above that 96. Does bode well for both of them, but they can find these types of maps moving forward. They should be able to mount a bit of a challenge against future opponents here. Meanwhile, just same order of business for Japan. Both of them comfortably in that 99.9 range this map because of the fact that it is pretty rhythmically simple outside of those couple of bursts here and there. You can kind of just lock in and just hyper focus on keeping that UR bar as steady as possible here.
100%. But Tsubasa's doing pretty good, actually holding above 99%, which is pretty nice to see. And Air's fighting to stay in the S rank. Some of the better scores we've been seeing from Australia in this map here. Meanwhile, Japan's just being Japan. And, oh no, HG picked up 2 greats in a row. Hang on. Okay. Went from getting an insane 99.98, has dropped to a miss entirely. Oh wait, no, that was just the client messing with it. Come on, client. Even the client had to fake us out. Come on.
It's gonna do that a ton, I feel, during this tournament. We love tournament client.
we love tournament client. How many times am I gonna say this until Peppy decides to ban? We just love the tournament client. Alright.
I need to find new items to describe what this thing is held together by. I always default to like silly string and toilet paper, but I need to find more fragile objects.
Yeah. Oh, you need more fragile than silly string? Brother, I got you. Okay?
I am open to
air.
suggestions. Ah, truly. Okay.
Right? You can't get more fragile than gas.
Genuinely. And with that being said, that will do it for this match. Japan picking up the 5-0 to start this tournament off. Pretty dominating performance from them. Basically near perfect. I mean, not to say that they are impervious to the misses, but they will be few and far between, it feels like, during this tournament. Australia doing their best. I mean, the double S rank on their side. Something to leaving off on a tiny bit of a high note, about as high as it can get going up against the number 1 seed here, but you got to take the positives where you can.
Yeah, 100%. And we have many more matches coming up in this round of 20. No teams getting spared from confrontation early on here. So, yeah, we have Japan, who is going to be winning their match against Australia, but we have a bunch more coming up. We got all of those teams right over there very conveniently. Up next, we have the Random States A taking on Croatia. Surprising that we have a team, but it's going to be a spectacular opening match to see between these two teams. Can't wait to see how it goes. That will be taking place at 18 UTC.
A pretty hefty break between this match and the next one, but hopefully you guys will come back for that, because once we start, it's going to be a little while before we actually stop. So until then, we'll catch you guys later.
Take care.